Hello, it's Terry from Danu's Irish Herb Garden. Here in Connemara today, it's pretty mild. It was 10 degrees, but it's very, very dull, grey, miserable. The wind is getting up and it's been raining. So it's the kind of day I don't like to be outside in. But this morning I woke up with a bit of a scratchy throat. So I've decided I'm going to get myself some sage tea. And I thought it'd be a good idea to make a video about how to make a herbal tea or a herbal infusion, because even though it's one of the simplest things you can do, lots of people just panic and think, but how do I do it? Because they think the idea of a herbal infusion just sounds so strange and sounds possibly, I don't know, alchemical and difficult. And it's not. It's really just exactly the same as making any tea. So I'm in the polytunnel, and I've got lots of herbs on this side of the polytunnel, and here is my beautiful bunch of sage. Now, sage is a specific for sore throats, so that means, you know, it is for sore throats specifically, and it should be one of the first herbs that you would turn to if you have a sore throat. So I'm going to make a cup of herbal tea by infusing some of the sage leaves, and then I'm going to drink the tea, and I may even gargle with the tea because it's going to be of great benefit to my scratchy throat. I don't want to get a cold, and if I sort out my throat today, I'll probably be perfectly fine tomorrow. So sage is a wonderful herb for the winter for all respiratory problems. So if you have asthma or catarrh or deep phlegm, if you have sinusitis or bronchitis, it's going to be very helpful. And it's going to be really brilliant for tonsillitis. As I said, it's a throat specific. But I mean, it does many other things as well. I mean, just smell it. I can even smell it through the beginning of a cold. I'm going to just chew a little leaf and tell you what it's like. It's supposedly a herb of immortality, or definitely longevity. It's very high in volatile oils, which means it's very aromatic. Wow, it's very bitter. The bitterness tells us as well that it's going to be very good for digestive complaints and digestive issues. And even though it is bitter, it's warming. So hence we know it's going to be good for those chilly feelings that you get with a cold and a sore throat. Very tasty. It's very comforting, kind of a warm, bitter taste. It's also an estrogenic, which means it's going to help women with their menstrual cycles and any little complaints they may have in that area. Particularly good for the elder, for the wise woman, the crone. Sage works on the hypothalamus to reduce those horrible night sweats and the hot flushes. So it's interesting, isn't it, that it's called sage, which means wisdom, and as we go through our menopause, we become wise. So it's certainly a herb for the menopausal woman. But it's also a herb for sore throats. So I'm going to pick some sage and take it back to the house and make a lovely, tasty sage tea. But whenever I harvest a plant, whether it be a wild plant outdoors or it's something I've planted in a vegetable patch, or whether it's something from the polytunnel, it's always good manners to say thank you. You know, we know that the planet is being raped and pillaged. We all know that there is something seriously wrong with the way we are dealing with nature, the way that we treat Mother Nature. Lots of people are suffering from a disconnect. And one way that you can kind of reconnect is to express your gratitude to the plants that you're using. I grow lavender, and I have a little box, a little wooden box that just fits into my pocket, and I put the dried lavender buds into this box, and then I use these little lavender flowers as blessings on the land, or I give blessings to the plants that have been generous enough to share with me their healing attributes. So I'm just going to throw a few of these little flowers into the sage to say thank you so much for growing so vigorously and so strong in my polytunnel, that I can now benefit from your wonderful healing attributes as I take some of you for my sore throat. So that's one way of showing appreciation. You can just sing a song. I'm a bit too shy to do that on camera. You can just say who you are, what do you want the plant for, and that you know how it's going to work, and you're so grateful for that. So thank you, Sage, for being here for me, and thank you, Sage, for helping heal my sore throat. And I know you as Sage, and you know me as Terry. So thank you. So now I'm going to just pop back up to the house and make a lovely cup of tea. Okay, so I'm back in the house. I've got my teapot ready. This is the beautiful bunch of sage that I picked. I've broken up a few leaves into the teapot. Now, because sage is such an aromatic plant, full of volatile oils, it's necessary to always keep a lid on the cup until it has infused. So this is how easy it is to make a herbal tea. You take your teapot, you put the herbs into the teapot, and then you pour on your hot water. So the kettle is just coming up to boiling, and I'm going to turn it off before it gets to boiling because I don't actually want to damage the plant. And I'm just going to pour in enough water to get a cup of tea. Put in the plunger, and that tea will sit and infuse for a few minutes. So remember, a herbal tea is the same as a herbal infusion, and all it means is that your plant, which is your tea, is infusing in hot water until it's ready to drink. And as it sits and infuses, I push down the plunger bit by bit, and then it's ready to drink. So I'm going to drink a lovely cup of tea, and I'll also gargle, because then the disinfectant and antiseptic qualities of the sage will actually be squishing all around on my throat. And I guarantee that by tomorrow I'll be right as rain, back to normal. I hope anyone who wasn't quite sure about making a herbal tea or an infusion will feel confident about doing it. It's just the same as making any kind of cup of tea. So this is goodbye now from Terry's little lesson from Danu's Irish Herb Garden, and wishing you lots of health in these dark winter long evenings. Bye bye.